Good evening and welcome to Roger's Blue Suede News. We'll be reviewing the good, the bad and the utterly stupid of the last 7 days. And before I go any further, I'm going to introduce my guests for tonight. So we have Katie Brown,
Hi.
we have Denzel DeCosta,
the Clisto,
and we have Josh Reynolds.
Ooh.
So, and just let me get some branding up. As you can see, we've got the Rogers Blue Suede News up in the top corner. I'm just going to make that disappear again because I can do this. As heard on the radio.
Ooh.
George Coppin was on the BBC Radio Derby a couple of weeks ago and mentioned my show. And I was on BBC Radio Derby last Monday and my show was mentioned. So it is as heard on the radio. So that's a new one for you. Anyway, I'll go round my guests and ask you to introduce yourselves. So I'll go to Denzel DeCosta first.
Hi, I'm Denzel de Clisto, and I am reading. I'm reading philosophy, politics, and economy at Oxford Balliol. Oh, sorry, it's the wrong quiz show, isn't it? Sorry, this is Blue Suede. I'm terribly sorry. I thought it was on University Challenge again.
So, okay, thank you, Denzel. Let's go to Katie next.
I'm Katie. I am a comedian and burlesque person, and I'm just here because no one else was available.
So last time Katie was on the show, she referred to me as the King of Groans. which in my book is as good as a laugh, unless you're having sex.
I can't comment on the latter though, Roger.
And let's next ask Josh to introduce himself.
Hello. I'm Josh. I was just getting to know everyone really before this little thing happened. I don't know if you've heard about it. But yeah, I've done
Rogers
a few.
Blue Suede News.
That's it. That's the one. So I've done a few open mics where I can really. So I've got to meet a few of the guys here through the Derby Writers Club and then at the Hollybush in Birmingham and a few other places. So yeah, just kind of honing and learning at the moment.
Okay, thank you very much. One thing I will say on this show, it's not a game show, therefore I don't award points. So points on this show mean...
Fuck
Fuck
off!
all!
Well remembered from last week. So...
Or just today.
Moving on to the first round, one thing you'll learn about this show, we have lots of really high-priced voiceovers and that kind of thing during the show. So here's the introduction for the first round.
What's the story? Morning Glory.
Of the story of the week. Now, it's always a difficult one. What do you discuss for the story of the week? Because there's been several things going on, but I picked one quite early in the week. I'm actually going to stick to it. I've just tweaked it just very slightly. So if I grab the story so everyone can see my take on the story, if it will actually pop up on the screen. It won't, so I thought I had that set up already, but never mind.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's alright, we can do some magic about this. We'll pull
Here
it down.
we go.
Hey!
There we go.
Here is a joke of mine from early in the week, and I think the story of this week is Boris is having a bad week.
Yeah.
At the start of the week, he got contacted by Track and Trace, telling him to self-isolate for 14 days because he's been near someone who's tested positive for COVID. So I did this joke of him in one of the industrial freezers that may be able to be used for vaccine freezing. Maybe not, it might not be cold enough, but I've got no idea.
It doesn't look like the North Pole, I must admit, does it?
Yeah, well, you see, someone suggested that we ought to turn the freezer on, and then he would definitely be self-isolating.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's an open discussion. Boris has had a bad week. Let's go to Denzel first for your views on Boris's week.
Well, first of all, I think Carrie will be absolutely delighted. She's actually got a bit of peace for 2 weeks so she can get on with running the country. Now she's taken over from Dominic as being in charge. But also, this happened just after Lee Anderson, who's the Ashfield MP, met with Boris and then started developing symptoms. It's quite common. I think most people, when they meet Boris, start losing their sense of taste as well.
Oh,
Thank
there
you.
you go. You will be awarded a rim shot if you say something like that.
Brilliant. I do think rim shots are fantastic, but don't you think maybe we need them on Pornhub as well? You know, a little sound effect there when you're actually visually seeing the rim shot. You need to also hear the rim shot.
Yeah, but if ever I was in the porn movie, it'd be more like this.
I must say,
I've seen that film.
I must say, I do get more laughs, actually, when I'm having sex than I do in a comedy gig. And more groans when I'm in a comedy gig than when I'm having sex. So.
Anyway, let's go to Josh. What's your views on Boris's week?
Pretty convenient timing, huh? Like, Dominic Cummings disappears and Boris Johnson goes into hiding for 2 weeks. So, you're hiding from Corona, Boris, or Dominic? But, you know, like, if Dominic Cummings has taught us one thing, though, you can't run away from Cambridge Analytica. So, that's one thing. But, you know, there's other things as well. Like, you know, we all have been isolated for quite a while. So, you know, I'm hoping he's going to pick up some new skills. You know, maybe public speaking, you know, concise talking, clear instructions. So hopefully be good for the leadership of the country. But, you know,
Last time wasn't.
No, but like, you know, I guess as, you know, what one winner, you know, his kid will finally get to see his dad. So,
Or one loser, the kid will finally get to see his dad.
Does know who his dad is. So anyway, let's go to Katie. How do you think Boris's week has gone?
I mean, every week's a bad week for Boris, isn't it? For a start, his hair, he can't speak, and he can't enunciate, and his best mate's just been knocked off his pedestal. So I think he's in the right place. Is what I think. Just locked away in hiding before he gets involved in the whole Donald Trump business. Although, did you see the thing of him smirking in Prime Minister's Question Times before, when they were asking about his mate Donald Trump being knocked off his pedestal, and he's just there smirking, going, "Oh, he wasn't my friend, really. Just doing what I had to do, being relations with America." And all that, but not my friend at all.
So anyway, like I say, I put this joke on the beginning of the week, and I don't think Boris's week actually got much better. We've had all the flack over the cronyism of giving contracts to friends and things like that, allegedly.
Again, that's another.
With lower due diligence than they would have normally attracted. And then his Home Secretary has been accused of bullying.
On anti-bullying week.
And on...
that would be rather ironic.
It is
I
very
can't
ironic.
believe, sort of another civil servant has had to resign, and they haven't sacked her.
Well, she
No, it's fine.
apologised though, didn't she? And as we all know, all you have to do is say you're sorry, and that's the end of it all. It all goes away.
Or say
Not
you're
for
going
Jeremy
for an eye
Corbyn.
test. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work for Jeremy Corbyn, that did it?
It doesn't work for anybody, but it just seems to have in this instance, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, she apologised, and the lady on the news just said, and rightly so, and moved on, and that seemed to be the end of the whole.
Oh no, it's still
bullying
carrying.
thing.
I think it's been carrying on. But interesting is that this report is months old, and I'm just wondering, is the reason it's come out now is because Boris in self-isolation, he can actually finally tidy his study?
Yeah, he doesn't have to answer his questions for 10 days, does he?
Found shit out.
Hiding.
Oh, bloody hell, I better sort that shit out.
been practicing your voices for later then, Katie?
I perfected my Boris voice last year at Panto because I played a town squire, and I thought it was the right time, thinking that this coronavirus bollocks was going to end quite quickly, and I thought I wanted to get it in while I could, and I've been dining out on it now for the whole year.
Okay, fantastic. We'll have a chat with you after the show about Panto. Roger and I have got ideas about that.
Well, Roger's already mentioned some.
Oh, good.
Yeah, one thing I'll do, we'll have a look at some of our comments. We do have viewers.
Hi, Al!
So
Hello,
two of
viewers.
them said hello, but we've got more viewers than that. So if you're watching the show, please feel free to say hello. And also later in the show, we've got a round where if you suggest news stories, we'll talk about them. So anyway, that's a nice comment from Al Grant. He was the first person to comment on YouTube. And we're also being watched by Alex Leam on YouTube, which is... He's laughing at my pronunciation. I've renamed Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel da Costa. Yeah, I'm a very expensive coffee now.
I do apologise. I'm crap at surnames.
My favourite is George Coppen, who quite clearly is George Coppen, and every time you call him George Coppen.
I did think he was going to say George COVID there. I did actually think you were about to drop the got so used to saying COVID. It was like
Oh, when we've got another one, another viewer. Are my eyes going, or are you out of focus? Who are you talking about?
Who's out of focus then?
So
It can't possibly be me. I'm backlit to buggery.
So anyway, and we've got
All right, Graham.
Graham
Hi,
Ripper
Graham.
Roberts.
That's a name, isn't
King
it?
Graham.
Yep, fantastic name. That nice of you to join us, Graham. So lovely to have you along. So anyway, what we'll do, we'll move on to the next round, and I'm just going to drop the names off for a short time and move on to the next round, which is this one.
Faking it.
Right, I'm going to read 3 stories, 1 story to each of my guests. All my guests have to do is guess whether the story is real news or fake news. Simple. So who shall I give this one to first? I'm going to go to Katie first.
Oh,
A very
why
pricey
break
bird.
tradition?
A very pricey bird is what the story is called.
I see why he came to me.
So, yeah, this is a story of Pippa the pigeon, who recently sold at auction. Are you ready for this? For $1.8 million. So that's 1.4 million pounds, allegedly. So, Pippa was a hen bred by a racing pigeon fancier, and had done quite well in races, and was sold for 1.8 million. The breeder is now retiring.
Okay. Is that the end of the story?
Yep, that's the end of the story.
I've heard of these sorts of things going down.
Do you want to know the breeder's name?
Go on.
Because I'm great with names. It's Gaston van der Rohe.
Ooh. Right, so you wouldn't have made up that name because you couldn't say it.
Wouldn't
So
I?
on that logic, I think it's true.
Oh, shall we find out? Shall we find out? Yes, it's true. Do you like the new graphic, by the way?
Brilliant. Absolutely wonderful.
So, yeah, it took me ages to do that graphic.
Steal
Where
it
did
from
you pinch
Adobe.
it from?
Adobe Acrobat.
Let's move on to our next story, which I'm going to throw out to Josh.
Game face on. Let's do this.
Whoa.
Formula One drivers are threatening to boycott the next race as a document was leaked highlighting plans to allow non-driver cars from 2025. And the new rule changes being planned. So they're going to allow autopilots in Formula One.
I mean,
Fact or fiction?
Ask him if they've got a name.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, how. So when we were going through the pigeon thing, I was kind of like, well, where's the degree of error with this? Like, how big can the lie be? Like, could it be in a sense of if they said 2028? Is that kind of how subtle you're going, or are we literally saying this is all bullshit? Like,
It's 2025 is when these rule changes come in. So
yeah. But is it like completely false? Or are you bending the truth? Yeah, that I want to see how deep this is. Like,
I think you're giving Ron a lot of credit there.
no. I'm just saying I don't want to lose on a technicality.
I think it'd be interesting to see these races because who will win, the human or the robot?
I mean, okay, so like
it's like Tron.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like 99% of me is saying this is like rubbish. But I felt like I had to explain it and ask some questions anyway. But yeah, it's completely garbage. Like, they're not even going to be on the road yet. Yeah, they're not going to be on the road by 2025, are they?
Well, neither are Formula One drivers.
Driverless cars will be allowed on British roads in the next 3 years.
Yeah, but then they're not going to put it into elite competition at the same time. Yeah, I'm going rubbish. Yeah, it's not.
So
yeah.
You're saying fake news?
I'm saying fake news. Happy with that?
You were right. Fake news. Well done. So that leaves us Denzel.
What's my surname?
De Christa.
Fact!
Yeah, there we go. That's an easy one. Fact.
Happy now? Right.
Always in your company.
Are you ready for your story, Denzel?
Nope. Go ahead anyway.
Ryvita are having to change their recipe. The reason being is because it has been found out that if you soak them in water and then leave them to dry out, ergo fungi forms on the top of the Ryvita because part of the ingredients is rye, and ergo fungi forms on rye, and ergo fungi actually contain something very similar to LSD when smoked, and was one of the reasons why in the Salem witch trials the ladies were losing their minds because they were all eating rye bread, and if they ate stale rye bread it caused hallucinations.
Okay, that's certainly plausible. Bear with me.
I love the slogan. By the way, I love the slogan on the Ryvita, perfect for sharing.
Yeah. You will have to bear with me a minute because I've just got to run to the shops and buy some Ryvita before they sell out.
It sounds like a lot of effort.
I don't know. I'm happily to just leave things to soak and pick them up and dry them out later on. That's not a problem on that. But I can see it as a possibility, but I don't think they're necessarily changing the recipe. Unless it's also poisoning people. It's not going to just do it just because it's a slight hallucinogenic effect.
Yeah, but the problem is if you smoke too much Ryvita, it can actually kill you.
Yeah, but if you smoked too much of anything, it could kill you, surely. It's like... that's just too much smoke inhalation, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but they found if they switch to a slightly different type of rye, it actually stops this ergo poisoning problem.
Right. I'm actually going to say that's fact. Or at least I want to.
Unlucky.
I'm really unlucky because during that break I actually ordered 200 tons of Ryvita. What am I going to do with it? Anyone want that?
Try to smoke it anyway.
You never know. Might actually, Roger might have
Use
actually
it
developed a new drug.
Use it as
Anyway,
sample.
I'm just gonna pop on and see if we've got any other comments. So we've got Michael City Old Timer, who normally comes over on Facebook and he's actually on YouTube this week. And normally on Facebook he's Michael Griffiths, so you might remember him from last week, Katie.
Yes, I do. Hi.
So Al Grant loves the new graphic.
Oh, creep.
Okay, and Graham Ripper Roberts noticed that in the mocked up picture I used the robot from Buck Rogers in the 25th century, an old Prime
That's like a
Minister,
whole other round.
Oh, yeah, what are we going to have to do then? Identify sci-fi themes.
No, you just have to
Yeah,
identify.
I've actually got a couple of
photo.
sci-fi themes behind me on this picture. I don't know if people can see on that picture. I'll see whether I can get the laptop closer. Oh.
Don't nobody needs me to
No.
open the camera. I'm seeing all my eye bags.
Okay, well, basically,
So,
on there you've got... I had a picture of a bookcase, but in front of it you've got a game of chess going on, and you've got Predator versus the alien playing chess. So
I thought there was an alien there. Very good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Are you all ready for another round?
Oh, yeah, go on.
Yes.
Prat of the week.
I still love that little donkey.
That's that Ishi, the donkey. Sounds more like Ishi than a...
So anyway, Prat of the Week is where each of you have nominated a Prat of the Week. None of you know whose each other's Prat of the Week is, but I've made sure they're not duplicated. So the first Prat of the Week, and you'll work out who's nominated first when you see your Prat of the Week, and you have 60 seconds. Let me just get my timer ready, because otherwise you'll be starting talking and I won't have timed you. So
It's all very official. For something where points mean fuck all, in the amount of rules there are, it's incredible.
Are you keeping count, Roger? Like, who's winning?
well, I don't give points because points mean
Fuck all!
Hate this.
I know, but it's ridiculously competitive, even though points mean fuck all.
there will be a nominated winner of Prat of the Week,
Oh,
but they
good.
don't get any points.
Because they mean fuck all!
Can we not?
Oh,
just not
can't we
have
give them to the... Can't we give them...
hypothetical points, even though they don't add up to anything?
No.
Like,
That's too mathematical for this kind of show. He can't get a surname right. He's not going to get a sum right.
So anyway, let's move on to the first Prat of the Week, and you don't have to start talking till I say your time has started now. So this is the first Prat of the Week. So and it's Katie's Prat of the Week. Your 60 seconds to justify your Prat of the Week starts now.
Okay, so this is Toby Young, who has said that COVID is basically nowhere near as bad or as bad as seasonal flu by using the maths of saying that 50,000 people have died from it, which means it's got an infection rate of less than 0.1%. But actually, 50,000 of 5 million in percentages is 1, which is basically the same as 10 times worse than seasonal flu. He then retracted his statement and said, oh no, I got my facts wrong, but didn't change the fact that, or didn't try and say, oh yeah, but now COVID is worse than flu. It's just happened and gone. So he is a prat.
Have you finished early?
I have. I like to get in there before it's
I'm
wasted
going to
time.
sound your klaxon anyway because
All
I
right.
like the
Oh,
sound of
thanks.
it.
Go on then.
Okay, so that's Toby Young, Katie's Prat of the Week, and he's The death rate from seasonal flu is 0.1%. Kate is right with her maths that actually 50,000 over 5 million is 1%, so it is 10 times worse.
And you said you
It's an
can't
interesting
count
fact
points.
that 1 in 5 adults, and for Toby Young that's 20%, struggle with percentages.
Luckily, there's only 4 of us here, so yeah, we're all right for percentages.
Yeah, we're all right.
Okay, so shall we find out who the next Prat of the Week is? I think the Josh will realise that's his Prat of the Week. It's Father Christmas. Are you ready for your 60 seconds, Josh?
Yeah. So
Go.
yeah, he's just plateaued, hasn't he? Lost his motivation in the year that we need him most. He's only gone and cancelled all his meet and greets at shopping centres this year, hasn't he? So what's he going to blame? But he's still cashing in on the TV advert, so that's kind of why I'm getting a bit peed off, to be honest. Still using his role for profits, not slowing down on the money. Still on the Coca-Cola van, isn't he? So he's just becoming another faceless corporation. And the treatment of the elves as well. Put most of them on furlough this year. The ones he's kept, they've been working on supplying cheap PPE. Yeah, it's just an opportunist. And that's all I have to say on that. So blow that klaxon, mate. But yeah. Scumbag.
I'm not playing it yet.
Well, it's just a scumbag. And I'll keep repeating that. Scumbag.
I'll keep repeating it.
Scumbag.
You're out of time.
Scumbag.
So, well, thank you very much for justifying Father Christmas as your Prat of the Week. I mean, one thing that should be said, I have heard that he's made his factories, his toy factories, COVID secure. He's very into his health and safety. So, yeah, one of my friends once sold his soul for a PlayStation. He'd misread the name as Satan. So,
see,
anyway.
can you hear the groans?
I can do a groan on that one if you prefer.
We need a proper groan sound effect. I think you need to go to Pornhub to get the groan one.
Well, I'll tell you what, everybody, we'll do separate groans and I'll stick it into next week's sound effect. So, Katie, you groan first. Denzel. And Josh. Right, so thank you for your groan effects. So,
Has Roger's got his wank audio sorted?
I had to be really careful about how, like, what groan you were going to go with, wasn't it? But, yeah.
Look. When I've already got my wank audio sorted, it ends with this.
Does it start with the countdown music? Oh, he missed his cue.
As always.
Right, let's move on. It's quite easy to work out whose Prat of the Week it is next. So this is Mike Pompero, or it could be Pompero. I don't know. I can't pronounce names. And it's Denzel's choice.
Yeah, so basically,
So
the US Secretary. Yeah, he's the US Secretary
your
of
60
State.
seconds starts now.
Oh, good. He's the US Secretary of State, and he's decided he's going to visit the Israeli settlements in the West Bank and the Golan Heights. First US Secretary of State to do that. This is going to be his last ever visit in office because, obviously, we are assuming that the court cases aren't going to win and that Trump is definitely out. Especially because Biden has just been confirmed to winning Georgia again. He keeps on being told he's won Georgia. But it's just really stirring up a big hornet's nest. That peace process is going to be completely shattered. Trump prided himself on developing a peace plan for Israel and Palestine. And every time it's almost like, the peace plan is one state, Israel takes over Palestine, fuck the Palestinians, and it's going to leave a nice little mess for the rest of the world to pick up come January.
That was serious, that was, then.
I was a little bit too serious. I hadn't watched the show before I actually was asked to do Prat of the Week. Having watched all you guys earlier on, I went, oh, rubbish, mine's way too serious.
Just add a fart joke. But...
Right, so Denzel, you know me.
I know you, yes. Yep.
And you didn't think this would be... You thought this might be a serious show.
No, I knew it was going to be a serious show, but when I was looking for Prat of the Week, this is the one which jumped out as being the one that's going to fuck up the world the most.
So, what I want to know is he a friend of Jeremy Corbyn's?
He's an anti-Semite. I know he's a pro-Semite. He's a very much.
What are you classing Corbyn as?
So I think I could have used him as one of my subjects of fake news then, couldn't I? By saying he's good friends with Jeremy Corbyn, fact or fake?
You'd have to have found out, though.
It's more like to be friends.
Was friends.
It's more like to be friends with Piers Corbyn.
Yeah. So anyway, well, it's still a good justification. I thank all three of you for justifying your choices. So who have we got? We've got Toby Young, who can't do percentages. Right, we've got Father Christmas, and yeah, I think it can be viewed as a bit of a problem because it is so commercialised nowadays. So it does worry me that you take your children along to meet someone, a total stranger, and say to them, meet Father Christmas, he's going to give you presents.
And he put his elves on furlough, so don't forget that.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're even considering this.
So, and there's Mike Pompeo, which in the real world, rather than the comedy one, is probably the biggest prat of the week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Toby Young or Father Christmas. Now, I know if I say Toby Young, Katie will scream at me because she's a big Christmas fan, has been telling me all about her Christmas outfits.
Yes.
And who do I want to upset the least? Because they're both very well justified. I'm tempted to upset Katie just to hear her scream. But I do hate people who can't do statistics. Which actually includes the government, because they're including people originally who've been run over by buses in the COVID death certification because they tested for COVID and like 3 months before they were hit by a bus, and they still went into death by COVID. So I personally hate people get statistics wrong and try and use statistics to justify anything like the government does all the time. So I'm actually going to nominate Toby Young as Prat of the Week. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. That's a good thing. Was I supposed to scream in joy? I thought.
Well, you can do if you want.
Scream in anger. I was like, no, because I want him to be Prat of the Week. That was the point of the round. Surely.
So you don't want Father Christmas to be Prat of the Week, do you?
No,
don't ruin Christmas. It's like,
Can I just say to the people who are watching, if you're enjoying the show, you can contribute to paypal.me/Roger Poulter. These shows aren't free to broadcast because we have to pay fees to StreamYard or whoever we're hosting with. Yeah, everyone point at the PayPal me because you won't get it right if you're not.
there we go. That's the best of it.
It's always fun watching people try and point at the PayPal me. If you do contribute to paypal.me/Roger Poulter, I will distribute any proceeds evenly between the comedians. So far, this is episode 3. On episode 1 and episode 2, we raised a grand total of 0.
We're doing well.
Okay. I'm going to make that disappear off the screen now.
That's why Katie's come back. Katie's only coming. Katie's on every week until she gets paid.
Yeah, she hasn't actually left the show until someone pays. So, anyway, that's the PayPal.me. If you want to find out, if you want to look that back up, you can always look it up on Catch Up, because we will be still on Facebook and YouTube after the broadcast. So, let's see if we've got any other comments. So, we've had a comment from Alex Lean. Toby Young or Father Christmas, the eternal dilemma. So,
we deal with the real issues on this show.
yeah.
Well,
we've
I
had
do,
Michael
at
Griffith
least.
say, that Santa was a cracker, as Frank Carson once said. So, and reason why I've got Michael Paul Griffiths back on Facebook is because, for whatever reason, his YouTube didn't work. We were all out of focus. So I hope we're all in focus on Facebook. Maybe we should drink more, then we might go even more out of focus.
His question is whether people on YouTube can see us out of focus, or maybe Michael needs better glasses, and we look perfectly on focus on Facebook, and everyone else thinks we're blurry there.
So anyway, we're now on to coming up to our next round of the show, and this is where our audience can actually suggest stories for us to talk about. Now, I've got some pre-prepared stories because we haven't had any suggestions yet. Okay, so if you're watching the show, by all means, suggest a story. But what I'll do, I'll play the round intro and then go to one of my pre-prepared stories first.
The good, the bad, and the utterly stupid.
So these are just stories from the last 7 days, and the one which I want to kick you off with is Dolly Parton funded the research into the Moderna vaccine. Right, this is in fact all fiction round. This is an actual story. Dolly Parton poured $1 million into vaccine research, and it helped with the funding of the Moderna vaccine research, which has recently come back with some very positive results. So, have you any of you have any views on Dolly Parton investing money?
She's always flashing her money about. She's given it to all kinds of charities and things, hasn't she? She's like got too much of it. It's like, yeah, just have a load.
Yeah, you do forget how successful she is. Like, she has her own theme park as well. Like that's kind of like the next level that only cartoons have. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and I'll admit this isn't one of my jokes. I've seen this on Facebook.
I know
I know which one you use.
The vaccine only works from 9 till 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favourites that I saw this week.
Yeah, I certainly saw a few variations on that doing the rounds as well. But I think, she's donated $1 million, and yes, that's well done. But $1 million is a drop in the ocean, really, for vaccine development. They probably spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this. So her name is known, but all the other people who put donated towards it, because they're not famous, we don't hear about them.
But I don't care about them if they're not famous. Bob McBobson donated 10 million, but I don't know who Bob McBobson is, so it's not really newsworthy, is it?
Yeah.
if you had to spare 10
Can you say that name again?
Bob
you and Roger have swapped places.
You do realise Bob McBobson is going to probably become very, very famous now because of you broadcasting his name and making public knowledge.
What, into 4 people?
If you had just 10 million to spare, you'd imagine that you'd be pretty well known, though, right? Like, you're not gonna. I don't know who's like not famous and just has 10 mil to donate, but yeah.
So,
It was a hypothetical. I mean, it wasn't actually based around that.
Of course not.
Oh, you made the name.
You didn't research. Yeah, you didn't just research who might have donated more than Dolly Parton. No, that's a list of the names. No.
I mean,
I'm a very literal person.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
fair
the one thing I'll say is that Dolly Parton. It sounds really nice that she's donated this money to research, but isn't in a bit of self-interest because she's getting on a bit now and doesn't COVID attack the elderly?
I mean, you want to watch what stones you're chucking in your glass house there, Roger.
I mean, yeah, the one thing you got to check though is that in a few years, this isn't like the next kind of like Panama Papers kind of thing. Like this is where you can donate to, and it skews on your tax breaks. So yeah, maybe Gary Barlow's plugging it in as well.
I think she's actually going for the Christmas #1. She's releasing a new version of Jolene. She's calling it COVID. 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 Please don't take my man.
So anyway, we've had a suggestion for a story from Richard Billington, and I'll hold my hands up. I've just typed this into Google, thinking I want it past our audience to give us fake stories to discuss. but this is a real story.
Oh. Owl
Right.
rescued in Rockefeller Christmas tree.
Tiny owl rescued from New York Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. The sods! It found this tree in the middle. In the middle, where's the Rockefeller Center? Is that New York or somewhere? It's
Is
been
Is
one
that where
of
they
the
go
big
New York.
cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New York,
So
isn't it?
the
Yeah.
owl
Has it been
actually
rescued or
managed to
evicted?
find a tree in New York.
Yeah.
Was it snowy?
Tawny.
So,
I imagine it's probably the
Tiny.
most common owl of all, which is obviously the teat owl.
yeah.
I can't. You need to do your rim shot, Roger. You weren't listening.
Sorry. Repeat the joke.
I think it's the most common owl of all. It's the teat owl.
That is the funniest thing you'll see all night.
So anyway, yeah. So there was an owl rescue from a Rockefeller Christmas tree.
But again, was it rescued or evicted? Because as far as I'm aware, owls quite like trees. Like birds like to be in trees. That's where they go.
Yeah, where
It's not
did
like
it?
a cat up a tree.
I don't think it was paying rent or anything. It probably was sort of like just a squatter.
Squatter.
Yeah, where was it from? Like, unless it like escaped something first.
Well, imagine there's owls in Central Park as well.
We should probably read the news story properly.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
I think it's probably just a Christmas decoration. It probably was a Christmas decoration owl. They went, oh, hold on a second, we don't like the feathery variety here. Let's move that on.
Yeah. Someone says, yeah, you're right. It was probably bought off Wish. Christmas decoration.
Exactly.
They ordered a
an owl.
partridge.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, it was one of the, and they wanted an angel for the top, didn't they? And it was like, that's close enough. It's got wings.
So anyway, Alex Lim supplied 2 stories. I'm just going to choose one of them. So, grow your own human steaks is not cannibalism.
That's
Now,
like
That's fake news.
no,
That's
it's
right.
not
Real.
fake
Real.
news. I've heard about this. They're growing fake meat from well, I don't know
It's
where the
from
protein
yourself,
originally came from, but they are growing artificial meat now.
they've
Yeah.
done
Like
your
burgers,
own.
haven't they, out of like
Yeah.
cow cells and then reproduced it. I didn't know they'd done human though.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
to
I'd be a
prevent
bit
it being
concerned.
being cannibalism, it's your own human meat. So
So
it's
you
like
can only
on
eat
your own
yourself.
Exactly.
So if
Ah.
you because like when you bite a bit of skin off your finger, I always wondered
Yeah.
if I was going down a
Yeah.
dark path.
Yeah.
But that's
Do you
all
know-
right, isn't it?
Do you know if you
It
ate
depends if you
somebody
eat the
else's
finger and leave the
steak?
skin.
Yeah.
What if you
If
pick
you
your
had
nose
somebody
and
else's
eat it?
steak, would that be cannibalism?
Yes, I think I imagine that. But if people get the taste for it, though, what they're going to want next, it's like, fair
Yeah.
enough. I've had a steak
I was
out
just
of that, but
thinking
what's real
you could-
thing taste like?
I was just thinking you could get a proper vegan steak.
Yeah, vegan steak made out of vegan, yeah. But you get that with cows anyway, surely.
That's like KFC having a fucking vegan burger. What the fuck? If you don't want to eat chicken, don't go to a restaurant with chicken in the fucking title.
They got rid of the chicken in the title, that's why it's KFC. They got rid of the chicken. Everyone knows
It's
it
not
stands for what it
Kentucky
stands for.
Fried Vegan shit, is it? It's Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
I know we got off point, but I feel quite passionately about that.
I read this earlier today, right? And it's the most, honestly, it's like the smallest piece of meat that you can possibly get, but it costs like thousands of pounds. And like, I can't remember what the time frame was, but it's about a year to make as well.
I saw the beef burger that somebody had made like last year sometime, and it's the size of like 2 pence piece. And they're like, yeah, it's just about $1 million worth of research right there. Fry it up and eat a burger.
Yeah, and you'll probably put sauce on it anyway. So yeah, there we go. That's the good timing for it there. But yeah.
I do think actually the best name for this product is clearly Soylent Green. Soylent Green is people. Sorry if I've just ruined that film for everyone.
You probably haven't. Most people who are going to watch that film have watched it already.
It's only sort of like 30, 40 years old, that film. So yeah, they've got a chance to watch it.
Right. I'm going to move on to one of my own stories, if none of you've got any suggestions for stories, and throw this one into the mix. HS2, should it be built?
Yeah.
I mean, they've already spent the money, haven't they? Just
Yeah, but looking at it, the government spent all the money. They're even printing it now, right? Because they've spent too much money.
Yeah, it was always going to happen, though.
And HS2, I mean, the fact that they call it high speed is stupid. The amount of minutes it knocks off the journey is so small, it doesn't make much difference. And the other argument for building it was capacity. But people aren't travelling by train anymore. They're working from home.
At the minute.
Yeah.
But I think lots of offices will be closing, won't they? They'll close lots of offices and get people sort of only coming in once a week rather than 5 days a week. For me, they're actually putting the train station for the Midlands, for the East Midlands. It's halfway between Nottingham and Derby. So it would knock 15 minutes off the travel time from Nottingham, but it's 20 minutes further away from Nottingham. So it's actually going to add 5 minutes to most people's journey, or the Nottingham and Derby people's.
I didn't even realise there was an East Midlands version, but obviously, like it's going to hit through Stafford and Stoke, and we're desperate for renovation in Stoke. So literally, the whole idea of if it bankrupts the whole country, for once it's actually in our best interest. We might just get a couple of nice streets and a few.
What you're saying is, if you live in Stoke, you're opposite of NIMBYs. They're not in my backyard. Get it in my backyard now.
Get in here, get in
here.
Exactly. We're going to trick a few people to move into Stoke. So,
don't miss it. You will have what's called nice streets in Stoke, but the only reason is because all the rest of the country is so downtrodden that Stoke actually looks half decent.
Exactly. But like it's one of them. Like if it's going to bring investment to us, then we'll have it.
I just think they've already done a lot of the legwork for it, and then it is. At what point do you just go, well, let's just throw that money away? Then that's nothing.
Well, I think they'll build phase 1. It's phase 2, which I think is a waste of time. Why do we want to go to London? There are a bunch of idiots down there.
Comedy gigs. I want to be able to at least get back from a comedy gig if I'm doing that on that night at a reasonable time. At the moment,
do you think it's actually going to change? It's a train.
Yeah, the timetable's not going to start running past midnight, is it?
Well, no. The thing is, I want a train which, the East Midlands train takes much longer at 11 p.m. It takes 3 hours if you catch the 11 p.m. train. It takes a mere 2 hours if you catch it at 10 p.m.
Station on
it does, exactly.
Back.
And you're just going, really? The one time I really needed to be really quick so I can get to bed so I can be up at work in the morning? Just give me a 1 hour direct service.
They'd be better employing a few more drivers and running the trains 24 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, where I come from,
lot of people
the last train is about 8 o'clock at night anyway. So I learnt to drive and I've never been on public transport since. So it does nothing for me either or.
Hey, wait, believe it or not, it's our final round.
Are we going to do cuddly toys at any point, or?
Oh, well, we can do cuddly toys now before the final round. If you've got a cuddly toy, you can bring it on the screen and squeeze it.
I've actually got COVID.
You can stay away from me. So, yeah, it's something which you can do if you've got a cuddly toy nearby. But if you haven't, don't worry about it, Josh.
No, I've got
There we
watch.
go. That's
It's
nice
all
Squeezed
watch.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
fair part.
we'll give you time to squeeze it.
I felt excluded otherwise. So
Yeah. So, anyway, is Denzel frozen?
the crystal is gone.
No, he's back.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did go into isolation there. That's what happened with
That's it, yeah.
COVID.
That's it.
here's
14 days passed really quickly for me. Same length as Boris. Boris and I had a nice little chat in the fridge, though. So we're just chilling.
Now, last week on this final round, we didn't have a voiceover, and I received some criticism from the viewing public over what I was going to choose as the voiceover. So the question is, have I chosen what I initially thought I was going to choose as the voiceover, or have I chosen the alternative voiceover? Shall we find out?
I predict a riot!
Ooh, hey, well done.
So when I said that, apparently the dog downstairs started barking.
Well, you must have predicted it right. Right, in this round, this is where I'm going to ask each of you to give me a prediction. It can be somebody to add to the Blue Suede News Deadpool, i.e. someone who's possibly going to pass away in the next 12 months, or something that's going to happen. And I'll keep a record of these, and you'll hear me type quite loudly as I do this. But that's basically it. I want one prediction off each of you. So we'll go to Josh first.
Yep. So my prediction is for the US to just put their hands up and go, "Yeah, we lied about the moon landings. Not my fault. Sorry, not my decision." Like, there's just like this massive comparison, right? Like that I'm getting between like the COVID vaccine race and the space race. Like everyone just seems to be like running in some sort of boasting contest. Like first of all, Pfizer came in at 90%, and then 3 days later, there's someone going, "Yeah, we did 95," and Pfizer come back and go, "Actually, we're 96." So I feel like it's just kind of starting that competitive element. And when United States are just going to put their hands up and just go, "Yeah, space."
Right. So you think USA will put their hands up to lying? I've tapped living. That's autocorrect for you.
Living in space, yeah, we know that.
about the moon landings, right? And I have a view that I always think they ought to call the doubters about whether the moon landing happened lunatics. Lunatics.
That's where lunatic comes from, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not word to rim shot. That's it. It's not the meaning of the word.
Great wordplay.
Okay, thanks, Josh, for that suggestion. I've added that to the list. Let's go Denzel next.
I think there's going to be a brand new political party in the being formed next year. I think possibly by early January, in fact, it'll be formed, but certainly by the end of next year, and that will be the REUP.
The what?
REUP party, which is Rejoin European Union Party.
Right.
It's the alternative to UKIP, but Nigel Farage will be leading it. You go, "Oops, hold my hands up. I made a mistake. I still want to be famous and important. I'm going to take charge of REUP."
Now, I think Farage is going to move up to Scotland and run their
Donald Trump's golf club.
Yeah, I was about to
their
say golf club,
independence
yeah.
campaign. I mean, to be quite honest, there's an ideal person to run such a party, and that's Jeremy Corbyn, because he'll be looking for a new party soon.
Him and Piers could get together. Him and Piers Corbyn could finally get me united, couldn't they?
They'll have to wait because currently you can't organise parties.
Yeah, give it a few days, you get 6 people.
He'll just go back to his scrapyard.
So, and let's go to Katie for her prediction.
What did I say last week? Did I say Donald Trump was going to be assassinated?
Yes.
Yeah, well, this time I'm going to say Donald Trump's going to be in prison.
Oh.
And then assassinated in prison.
Probably, but
Yeah.
then do I get extra points if both happen?
You don't get any points on this show because points mean.
Fuck
all!
I think I think Trump's going to be dragged out of the Oval Office, still clutching onto the desk, isn't he? It's like, I'm taking the desk with me. No, you're fired.
Did you see he was
break the Oval Office up?
He was actually considering going to war with Iran just before he left.
I can imagine that. Yeah, so,
and his advisors managed to talk him out of it.
Yeah.
That was last week. Last week he was talking about sending missiles into Iran.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't tried to nuke Biden.
He's going to go soon anyway. It's fine. We won't have to put up with him for very long.
Well, not necessarily. He might win that court case because I was just thinking, Rudy Giuliani. Did anyone see the footage of him?
I don't think Kate was talking about Trump.
All right, Biden.
I thought you talk about Biden, weren't you, Katie? About not being there much longer.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
I did see the Trump thing with the Rudy Giuliani thing.
His hair, sort of like hair dye, started dripping down his face during an interview.
When
he was in court, sort of like making stupid arguments, and everyone's going, "What's dripping down his face?" It's far more interesting than what he was rabbiting on about.
Oh, which one are you on about? Okay, here's my cultural references. I thought you were on about the new Borat film, but no.
No.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's a recent. Rudy Giuliani has obviously been in court trying to get various votes overturned so that Trump will remain president. But he's dyed his hair just before he got into court, and he must have got a really cheap hair dye because it started dripping down the side of his cheeks during the actual interviews.
I love the fact that Trump has now lost in the same state 3 times.
Yeah.
In Georgia, he lost once, then he did a recount, then he did an audit, and all 3 times, like, no, you've lost.
And by more each time, it's by 12,000 by the final recount. This is it.
Just let it go. Let it go. Fuck off. I've just finished reading Michelle Obama's book, and she's really lovely right up until the point where she mentions Trump, and then from then on, she's just, you can hear the spite. She really didn't like him at all, and she just said, "What were America thinking?"
Anyway, Alex Liam has asked us to predict tomorrow's lottery numbers.
Okay,
so
but if he does win, if he does win, what do we get?
He has to share it with us, doesn't he?
Okay.
How many numbers are there?
6.
There's 6. So if we all do one, and then I'll pick 2 people to do an extra one. So I'll go first. I'm going to go 3. Katie?
19.
Denzel?
17.
28.
Josh? I'm gonna go for the next number. I'm gonna go 42. And we need one more. And I'm gonna go with Josh for the extra number.
Yeah, but we need the 30s because there's nothing there yet. 36.
Okay, there you go, Alex. There's your lottery numbers. Make sure you put a ticket on. And remember, if you win, you have to share it with us.
Otherwise, Katie comes back on next week.
No, I'm on awkward questions next week instead.
So, I've put the paypal.me back up on the screen. It's paypal.me/Roger Poulter if anyone wants to send us a tip. Any tip will do, even as low as 50p, we'll still accept it. I don't know whether PayPal will or not, but I definitely would.
Yeah, it's how we're going to split it up. At least, Roger, you've shown you can do maths. Yeah. Otherwise, Toby Young will be the one actually dividing it up between us all. So.
All right. It's got to the time of the show where we're at the end of the show, and I'm going to ask each of you to plug things you're doing. So let's go to Denzel first.
Well, Roger and I actually run the Derby Comedy Writers Club, and basically we get together currently online, but normally we meet face to face on fortnightly on a Monday to actually write jokes together. And we're going to be writing a pantomime over the next couple of sessions, and hopefully be performing it. So watch this space. We'll potentially use Roger's YouTube channel to actually show you the pantomime once we've created it as well. Roger doesn't know about that bit yet. But yeah, so watch this channel, subscribe to this channel on YouTube, and you'll be able to see a pantomime of some description in the near future, hopefully just before Christmas.
Fair enough. We can have up to 10 actors on StreamYard.
Great, perfect.
So let's go to Josh next.
Oh, I've got fuck all.
You stole my line.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, plug the holly bush.
No, I mean, what I'll do instead is like I'll just say like I'm probably like 20 or 30 spots in at the moment, and probably 15 of those because of lockdown have had to be at the Hollybush. So if I could play anywhere else, that would be very much appreciated, because otherwise they're getting bored of my jokes. So I can't come up with a fresh 10 every time. So yeah, if anyone wants to make life easier for me and yeah, give me a slot when we're allowed to, there we go.
Yeah. Katie, you'd like the Hollybush. It's Christmas every day there. They never take the tree down.
Christmas on Halloween.
I do need to get in there. I just haven't got around to it. It's a bit far for me to drive at the minute, but eventually I will.
Yeah,
Anyway, Katie, do you want to? Have you got anything you want to plug?
Nah.
What about awkward question time?
I'm on awkward question time with Alex Ling next week. He does it every Sunday, so he'll be there on Sunday this week.
I've heard that's one of the best shows on Sunday, other than Country
yes.
File.
Absolutely. So, and it's on earlier as well, so there's no excuses because it's like half an hour earlier than this one.
But it still clashes with I'm a Celeb.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it's much better. Just like this is better, that's better, everything's better than I'm a Celeb.
So, anyway, if you want to say good night, we'll run the end credits. Night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Good night, John boy.